Hello everyone, it is Teacher Marianne here from HelloTeacherMarianne.com, and on this channel you'll find videos all about helping you teach online, where I'm bringing to you valuable tips, insight, and need-to-know information. If you're contemplating teaching on Outschool, or if you're a newly approved teacher, you may have heard things like, all you need is a passion, just teach what you love. And when you first hear that, it sounds amazing, because it is. What? I can teach whatever I want. I can just teach what I love. But if you're like me, as quickly as you got really excited about that, those thoughts were followed up with, what am I going to teach? What is my passion? What do I love? Well, I couldn't readily think about something that I was so passionate about that I just could not wait to teach it on Outschool. So I had to ask myself a few new questions. And I'm going to share with you the 3 questions I asked myself and that you can ask yourself to help you start thinking in the right direction. Now go ahead and hit subscribe, hit the bell so you'll know when these videos come out, and please give this video a like if you find it helpful. Now before we go to the passionless crowd, just kidding, we all have a passion. For some of us, it just takes some think time to figure it out. But for those of you that said, I know exactly what I'm going to teach, I'm going to be known as the whatever teacher. That is amazing. And you can start having so much fun creating courses all around your passion. I would just advise to leave your passion broad enough so that you can add more subjects and more content areas or topics to your repertoire. Now, this is a very important note. If you can't think of exactly what to teach right off the bat, you might be tempted to search Outschool classes to spark ideas, which is totally fine. I did the same thing, as long as we don't copy, right? But I would suggest asking yourself these questions first to get a sense of the general direction that you want to start heading. If you start searching classes to browse ideas first, you may see some really popular classes and think, well, I could do that. That's what I'll start doing. And you might want to start teaching those classes just because you can, instead of because it really thrills you and excites you to start teaching those classes. And if you start teaching something that you don't really love, it's going to come across in your classes, which could risk good parent reviews and could jeopardize your initial success on the platform. You also might be setting yourself up to be one kind of teacher when in reality, you're really not that person. One thing I absolutely love about Outschool is that they encourage you to be you. Don't try to be what you think parents are looking for. There are parents and students who will connect with and appreciate your personality type and your teaching style. Be you and they will find you. So with that being said, let's get to my 3 questions to find your Outschool passion. So the first question is obvious. What do you love? But I don't want you to hear this question as, what do you love to teach? What do you love? Do you love to sew, cook, bake, garden, play an instrument, play video games, watch movies? If this question sparks an obvious answer, that's a good place to start. You can ask yourself, since I love to sew, what classes can I teach that have to do with sewing? Can I teach a class about the basic parts of a sewing machine and how they operate? Can I teach a class on simple stitches or fancy stitches? How to sew a hem, how to sew a dress, how to sew doll clothes, how to turn one garment into another. Once you start brainstorming all of the topics that could branch off from one broader topic, you will see that your class ideas are endless. You will have a ton of content to work with. For me, what I love always comes back to teaching in some form or fashion to one audience or another. That's what I love. So I needed to ask myself some more questions to dig deeper. Which leads me to question number 2. What comes easy for you? Do people always tell you, you're really good at this? Man, you're good at that. I wish I was as good as that as you are. Maybe people always compliment you on your green thumb or your ability to organize. Maybe you have a gift for flower arranging. Maybe others consider you to have lots of style and you could put together classes on how to put together outfits for different occasions or basic wardrobe must-haves or how to accessorize. I've seen classes on how to paint fingernails with fancy designs, how to fix hair for teenagers. And we all know how popular makeup tutorials are on YouTube. Think about past positions you've held in the corporate world. Could you teach high schoolers how to interview well? Did you excel in high school academics or college? Can you teach college prep courses? Now, this may sound like a small thing, but over the years, I have heard very often about my ability for note-taking. I'm just the kind of person who has to write as I hear it to process it well. I could definitely teach a class on note-taking. Another thing that I know I'm somewhat obsessive about is planning out my workload. I love to plan a thing out, whether it's my to-do list for every day and my to-do list for the week as a whole, or it's a to-do list for a 3-month course I'm taking. It eases my mind to have it all written down, organized, so that I can see how I'm going to get from point A to point B, and I can see what action steps I'm taking. I'm not just looking at a goal feeling overwhelmed because I'm not sure how to get there. So there are a few classes I could teach from that. Time management, avoiding procrastination, improving initiative. You get the point. Question number 3 is in the same ballpark, but with a slightly different twist. And it's this: what do you not like? Do you cringe when your child needs help with their homework, but you love to do crafts with them? Would you rather do science experiments with your kids or help them write a paper? Do you really love those reading fair projects? Would you rather create things with Play-Doh or Legos, or teach handwriting? Or would you rather teach letter formation using Play-Doh? Would you rather make slime or read a book? Imagine you have volunteered to work with a group of kids this summer. Would you rather volunteer in the academic department, and if so, which subject, the PE department, or the art department? In other words, what do you enjoy teaching and what do you naturally gravitate towards, and what makes you want to skip school? And there you have it. 3 questions to ask yourself to help you find your Outschool passion. What do you love? What are you naturally gifted at? And what do you really not like? I hope these questions get your creative juices flowing and provide a springboard for your own brainstorming. Please let me know in the comments if you thought this video was helpful. Remember, you can do this. It might change your life, and I'm your biggest cheerleader. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.